Hello everybody and welcome to this week's video. Today we are going through every single series on my TBR that I could continue right now, if that makes sense. So the parameters being the next book in the series is already out, just because if I included all the series that are like the first book or that are waiting for books to come out, like the DC Stars series is going to be 7 books long and I'm up to date because I'm at book 4. Make sense? So I've got 12 series to chat through today. Oh, actually 13, and I haven't got one of the books. So we'll start with that one. The first series that I could continue right now is All the Young Dudes, which if you don't know is a Harry Potter fanfiction. It's not physically published, but I bought on Etsy the bound copies of them because I wanted them for my shelves. You can see them just above here. That's book 1. And as you can see, book 2 is missing as it is on my TBR in my little box of TBR books for this month. So that's the first one. So I've actually got 13 series here. The next series that I could continue is, I don't know what this is actually called, but it's In a Jam by Kate Canterbury. Book 2, In a Rush, I think it's called. Came out recently. I do own the physical copy and it's on Kindle, so I've got no excuse. None. So this is the second series I could continue right now. Also, for all of these, I do intend to continue them, hence owning the next book or including it in this video. So then this is actually a recent one I started, but the Good Girls Guide to Murder series. Obviously this is a trilogy and I've only read book 1 so far. And I gave this a 5 star, so this is probably one that I'm likely to finish before the end of this year. That's being very hopeful. But I'd like to finish this before the end of 2025. I feel like I should explain what the series are as well. Obviously, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder is a YA mystery thriller. In a Jam is a romance, like a small town romance. Then I have got the Let's Split Up series by Bill Wood. The second book to this came out literally last week. This is another YA mystery thriller and it's like inspired by Scooby-Doo. So it's really fun. And again, I rated this quite highly when I read it. So I think I will be picking up book 2 very, very soon. And I got the Works Sprayed Edge edition, which is adorable. The next book, I actually read this like many, many years ago, so I probably need to reread this. But it is the Love Light Farms series by B.K. Borison. When I read this, I didn't like it. But since then I've read First Time Caller and I've loved that. So I thought I'd go back and read this again, and I've now got all the books in the series. I think they're somewhere down here, with the intention of reading them. Not soon, but you know, when I've got a lull in my TBR, I could finish this series if I wanted to, sort of thing. And this again, I think would be classified as a small town romance. And this one specifically is quite festive, I remember. But again, I probably need to reread the first book because I read that, I think, 2 years ago now. Not a single thought on what actually happened in it. I do not remember. Then the next series is one by Chelsea Curto. As we know, big fan of the DC Stars series, so I wanted to go back and read some of her earlier works, which is the Love Through a Lens series. I've only read the novella to start it, so I've got 3 books left in this series, and this is just like a romance series, I think based on different meet cutes maybe. I don't know what the premise is, but this was okay. I don't really like novellas, they're not really my thing, but I wanted the full experience, so I did read this. Then, I don't know if this counts as a series, but I'm counting it anyway. I've got Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, because this is like a series of standalones, sort of thing. Interconnected standalones. So I've obviously read the first book in this little series. I gave this, did I give this 5 star? I might have given this 5 star. Or like 4.5, something very high. So again, yours truly, the next book in this set of books, is on my TBR, in my little TBR box for the month. So hopefully again, this should get finished by the end of the year. Hopefully. The next one that I have got is a cowboy romance, which is Holding the Reins by Paisley Hope, which, what is this series called? is it Silver Pine Ranch? There's so many cowboy romance names, I do not remember. But again, I think the next book in this series came out fairly recently. I don't own it yet, but I intend to buy it soon to continue this, because I have read the first 3 books in this series. So book 4 is the one that's just come out. So I didn't love these. They're all about like between a 3 and a 4 star, but I've started, so I'll finish, sort of thing. So I do want to continue this. That's probably the only one on this list that I might unhaul. Like, if I'm not going to complete one of these series, it would be that one. Then the next one is another cowboy romance. This is a recent discovery for me, and I absolutely loved it. And the author commented on my Instagram, and she's replied to my story. I think she might even follow me, which just makes me love it even more. And that is Cowgirls Do It Better, which includes Redemption. And I think the second book is called Revelry by Lila Dawes? By Lila Dawes. And the second book, again, came out recently. It's on Kindle Unlimited, which is why I haven't bought a physical copy of book 2 yet. But I do intend to continue. This book specifically was wild because he killed her mum in a car crash. How crazy is that? For not even a meet cute, but like, that's how they know each other kind of thing. Wild premise, but I really, really enjoyed this one. Then we've got onto our fantasy books. The first of which is and I am going to butcher this, I think it's pronounced Adenashire, which is by Jay Penner, but this is A Fellowship of Bakers and Magic, is book 1, and this is again one that has had a 3rd book come out recently that I have not picked up yet, but I fully intend to, because again, just adored this. It's cozy fantasy. What more could I want? Literally, what more could I want? This is one of my favourite fantasy series. Then onto another one that I've only actually read 1 book in, but you can literally just about see behind me. Ooh, exposed my cancer Pepsi there. The Paladin's Grace series by T. Kingfisher. I did enjoy book 1, but I'm like waiting for the perfect moment to pick up book 2, because I'm not always in the mood for a fantasy like this. Book 1 was kind of like a mystery fantasy kind of thing. I think that's how I describe it. And it is again very cozy. So, but picking between like the next cozy fantasy I'll pick up is probably going to be the next book in the Adenashire series rather than Paladin's Grace, because then I'm up to date on a series rather than in the middle of one still. Because as I said, there are 4 books out in this so far. I've read 1 book, and I think there's going to be 7 or 8 of these books by the end of the series, which is crazy. Oh, it doesn't fit. Then another fantasy one. This so far has only got 2 books out, so I only need to read 1 more book and then I'm up to date. So why haven't I done it? And that is Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling. I did love this book. I gave it a 5 star. I read it, I think, in January this year. But it's one of those, I need to like refresh my brain on what actually happened. I'm ready for book 2. Because I did love it. And I do want to continue the whole series. I think it's a trilogy, maybe, that it's going to be. It doesn't tell me. But I think it's going to be a trilogy. So, again, I should just get up to date on it, and then it will be really easy when the next book comes out. But have I done that? No. But yes, really want to read this. This is fantasy. It's got dragons. It's romantasy, actually. Smutty romantasy. So if that's your thing, I highly recommend this. Especially if you didn't read the indie published copy. Because the indie published version apparently is like way more in-depth than this one. So if you've read that one, you won't enjoy this one. But I hadn't read that, so this was great for me. Oh, I've run out of space. Just leave that there. And then the final series I'm going to talk about, and one that I'm 100% continuing because I love it, is The Legends of Thesmar by Helen Shearer. This series has potential to be one of my favourite fantasy series ever. As we know, my favourite fantasy series are Harry Potter and Powerless. That's my faves. This Blood and Steel was 5 star. I think, what's the second one called? Vows and Ruin was like a 4.5. This is one of my favourites because of the fan family element. Like our main character, Althea, her best friends in this are just my favourite people. They are so fun. I highly recommend this if you haven't read it already. And I'm sure you can tell from the cover, but this is a fantasy. There's a romance element. This is about a female warrior in a realm where females are not allowed to wield weapons, especially not steel weapons. So that's the premise. It's amazing. I don't know what else I can say without spoiling it, but this is probably the series I recommend the most from this list, is The Legends of Thesma. And I have to say thank you to Ellen Catherine for making this the book club read along, because I would not have picked this up otherwise. I'm obsessed and I would never have picked it up. So those are the 13 series that I am currently in the middle of and able to continue. If you want to be involved in potentially a video where I continue these series, then let me know in a comment down below which series you want to see me continue. And I think that is it for this video. I will see you next week with, I think it's going to be a 10-book takedown. I think it is. I don't want to get your hopes up, but that's the plan. So I'll see you then with hopefully a rather long video. Bye!